Like I said, we didn't grow up very privileged, so I remember growing up, we didn't have a lot. For some reason, I don't want to say obligation, but it felt like I had to do something about it. And I think primarily a lot of that was Shark Tank, to be honest. Seeing the stories that were coming on there. I remember there's a 9-year-old who pitched on there. I'm like, dude, I mean, that kid can do it. Why can't I, right? So an absolute nightmare to use that. But on there, some of the first thing I was searching up was how to make $100,000. And for some reason, that was the magical number. That was the number I wanted to hit. And I thought 100,000, and it is a lot of money. And I'm like, hey, let me see if I can make that kind of money. And so there are two main things I saw. And so I'm like, all right, I love fashion. I read the book from Damien, How to Basically Start Something Without Anything, I believe is the title. I got that from my first mentor. And he says, you should read this book. And I told him, yeah. I'm a 15, 16-year-old, not going to read a book, man. I'm not good at school, was not good at school. Why are you asking me to read a book? So then he orders the book, sends it to my house, and tells me, hey, I sent it to your house. You better read this book. And I'm like, well, this guy kind of went out of his way. I kind of got to read the book now. And I didn't read it. And I think it was a couple of weeks later, he randomly asked me a question like, what do you think about this? And it was so specific that I didn't know the answer. And he did that on purpose to test out if I actually read the book. And he's like, I'm disappointed. Like he was showing me kind of a disappointment, which got me. I wasn't scared, but I was disappointed that he went out of his way to go do that. Why am I not reading the stupid book? And so I go read the book anyways, and you hear the story of Fubu, how Damien launched that in the back of his trunk in Brooklyn, New York. Very similar story of a single mother like myself I grew up with, and I mean, turns that company to several $1 million. The guys on Shark Tank, I'm like, dude, phenomenal. So I go online, I'm finding local shirt shops, all that. I go there. Our family is Middle Eastern, so I speak Arabic. I had my first 6 figures in my life. I'm like I'm doing what I've ever dreamt about, stressing out anymore about bills. I'm getting sued, but what now is $1 billion brand that got bought out by Louis Vuitton because I copyright infringed on their product. I was underage and got very lucky, but that was my very first rodeo.
Yeah.
I mean, don't copy someone's brand, but the biggest part I learned was, I mean, when you're 16, the first thing you think about and you make some decent money is how do you become flashy and how do you